If there's one thing that every car enthusiast knows, it's that Toyota's 2JZ engine is associated with one thing, or one car in particular, the Toyota Supra, Toyota's flagship performance car, and rightfully so. The Supra has forged a 2J's reputation as an extremely powerful and reliable engine. Even to this day, 3 decades after its inception, it's still a big part of the automotive industry. But what if I told you the Supra stole the crown from another car? And it's not actually the founder of the 2JZ, but just a car that adopted the engine. The car I'm talking about is the Toyota Aristo. Derived from the Greek word meaning the best, the Aristo is made as somewhat of an expansion of the Toyota Crown, maintaining its luxury, but with sportier features. One such feature being the engine, the twin-turbo 2JZ GTE. The Aristo made its debut in 1991 as a luxury, comfort-oriented sedan. In other markets, it was known as the Lexus GS 300. However, Japan, as usual, was the one to get the best version of the car, that with the 2JZ GTE. The first example of the engine in a production car, the 2JZ really did make the Aristo a wolf in sheep's skin. Every video I see on the 2JZ only briefly mentions the Aristo as if it's some kind of pest before ranting on about the Supra. A large amount of car enthusiasts have no clue what the Aristo is, but foam at the mouth at the sight of a Supra. And it's quite sad that the Aristo receives such little attention, but at the same time, it does keep the prices low. And I get it, the Aristo isn't as cool as the Supra and it doesn't appeal to the Fast and Furious fanboys as much, but I think it's cool in its own right. The Supra and the Aristo offer two pretty different experiences of the 2JZ, the Supra being high-octane adrenaline-pumping driving, while the Aristo offers a smooth, elegant and comfortable experience suited to daily driving. The Aristos only came in an automatic, which is why so many people see it as a downfall. And to be fair, the 4-speed auto it came with, while strong, is quite lethargic and it is not suited to performance applications. But the Aristo had a completely different market to the Supra, catered to sophisticated Japanese businessmen who wanted to ride in style without compromising performance and comfort. Whilst everyone is so focused on the performance and racing side of the 2JZ, not many people know that it has another side to it, a more refined and smooth version of the 2JZ in its stock form. Whilst the Supra is a raw experience revving out all the gears and feeling the rush, the Aristo's experience is a smooth, linear wave of power that begins when the first turbo spools up, and it doesn't really end. Don't get me wrong, people mod the fuck out of Aristos to achieve high horsepower, but in its stock form, it's an incredibly smooth, comfortable experience with plenty of power on tap still. If you leave these engines stock, they really are a treat to drive. The stock exhaust on the Aristo is very quiet, but it does add to the comfort. But when you accelerate and hear that turbo spooling up, it does remind you of what the car is capable of. And as boost comes on, you get that surge of power and your speedometer starts shooting up, and it is really quite an intoxicating feeling. And I'm not sure I'd want to give that up just to go a little bit faster. Call me crazy, but that's why I love the Aristo so much. It packages the 2JZ in a completely different way than its usual applications. Most people, as soon as they get their greasy hands on a 2JZ turbo engine, immediately junk the twin turbos, and yes, they can't handle above 400 horsepower for long, but the sequential turbo system is beautiful to drive and greatly contributes to the aforementioned Aristo driving experience. The 2JZ is full of 90s tech and engineering, which whilst outdated, is even more robust and reliable than some of the modern stuff. And the fact that there's still so many around breaking records is pretty impressive. The Aristo production run actually went on longer than the Supra, with the A80 Supra running for 9 years, whilst the Aristo was in production for 14 years. A common misconception is that the 2JZ started and died with the Supra, but the Aristo carried it on for 3 more years and started 2 more years before the Supra. So who's the real owner of the 2JZ? Well, whether you like it or not, it's the Aristo. And even though the Supra cemented the engine with the cult status it has today, the Aristo flew under the radar and offered its own unique 2JZ experience, which I think is pretty cool. And let me just end off by saying no hate to the Supra at all. I absolutely love them and it's one of my dream cars. But at the end of the day, the 2JZ was born and died with the Aristo, and that makes it a pretty legendary car.
"走りのために突き詰められたフォルム」「快適とゆとりをもたらすビッグキャビン」「心満たされる時と走りを求め」「新型アリストは今先進のパッケージングを完成した」 従来の高級スポーツセダンでは到達しえなかった未知の走りの領域へ。そのセダンは日本車を変える。新型アリスト完成。